Life is about choices, and especially that's very apparent when it comes to your vehicles. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button down below for content like this and many, many more. For all your current subscribers, thank you for watching, for liking and sharing my videos. You guys are awesome and I really appreciate it. Now, what do I have next to me? This is the 2025 Hyundai Kona, but the EV version. I know, it looks exactly like the regular one. And I think that was by design and on purpose. So this one is the electric version, and it has the 64.8 kilowatt hour battery. This is the N-Line model. It does about 200 horsepower and it's front wheel drive only. I'm gonna talk about it, review it, go over all the specs and features. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. But before I continue, I wanna give a big thank you to Hyundai. I've been living with this vehicle for the past week in my home test area. Thank you guys are awesome. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. Okay, let's talk 2025 Hyundai Kona Electric. At first glance, you will not be able to tell this is the electric one versus the gas one. You know, only a keen eye, if you know what you're looking at, you'll be able to determine this is the electric one. And that giveaway, not really a giveaway, but Hyundai has hidden the charge door right over here. And this is where you have both the J1772 connector, and of course when you open this bottom one, it is the combo connector right there. You do have a little light there, a little battery indicator. This can charge from 10% to 80% in about 43 minutes using a level 3 charger. It's not built for speed, this one, because it is an affordable EV. So if you want something with faster charging times, you have to step up to its big brother, the Ioniq 5. But this one being the N-Line, it has the N-Line treatment. So you do have the blacked out front grille. There's a little kind of like chrome-ish looking little thing on the grille. There's the front radar sensor. A lot of shiny black plastic. N-Line badging right there on the left. The lights, these are the daytime running lights. So from here to here, daytime running lights on this particular model. And these do not light up in this trim. On the limited trim, the entire thing lights up, and it has LED turn signal as well. But this one, my tester does have LED low beam and high beam and the incandescent turn signals. And being an N-Line, is wrapped in 235 45 19-inch wheels on Kumho Majestic tires. Nice blacked out wheels. You got the N badging there in the center. More of that N-Line badging on the side of each fenders. Blacked out mirror caps. It does have what Hyundai calls a wide sunroof. So it looks like it's almost the whole half of the roof, but we'll go over that a little bit in the interior section. This does have keyless entry, so you just put your hand in the door handle and open the car like that. Of course, use the key. This is Hyundai's new key. And if you put it like this, it looks like the Hyundai logo on the side. And let's walking around the side. This one being the N-Line, it does have a very, very cool looking spoiler. As you guys can see in the back, nice little spoiler. I do like the third brake light on this one. It does have a rear wiper. It does say Hyundai Kona there, nice and large. Of course, being electric, there is no exhaust, of course. But this also lights up. This entire light bar lights up as your tail light. And then your brake light is these guys right here. Reverse and then turn signals. Incandescent in this model because it's not the limited trim. And now that we're back here, let's get into the trunk. Manual hatch, but that's okay because this is the N-Line. With the seats folded up, you get about 64 cubic inch of cargo capability. And with the seats folded down, which you can fold them down, you get about 65. So you get 60-40 split, so you can fold down that side and this side. You do have a little bit of underfloor storage. There's the tire mobility kit. And one interesting thing about this car is if you get the electric, this is electric, I'm sorry, you don't have a spare, but you can purchase the spare tire from the gas version and then just it will bolt right up, which is a cool thing to have. Nice little cubby here on the side, right here. Here's the subwoofer for the Bose sound system, which we'll go over in a second. And before we go inside, let's take a look at the frunk, which is very small, but nonetheless, it's usable. And not to mention, most people do not use, they did a survey in regards to people using the frunk, and the percentage was very small. But typical EV, Hyundai EV, there is of course, no engine, obviously. You do get this little cargo capability here. So enough to fit the included charging cable and accessories and things of that nature. That's about it. There is the traditional 12-volt battery, because even though it's an electric car, it does have one of those. And that's pretty much it. Windshield washer fluid is right here. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and this is your brake fluid that you have to put in. But that's about it in terms of maintenance, because it is an electric vehicle. All right, let's take a step inside the 2025 Hyundai Kona Electric. Let's talk about the interior, the tech, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step inside the 2025 Hyundai Kona Electric. And let's start with the door panels. Materials are a mixed bag. Of course, you have hard plastic here, soft padded here in the center section, right here. And you know, this is the N line, so this is not the one with the high-end materials. You have to go for the limited for that one, but you do have a decent sized cup holder right here. This has the Bose sound system because it's included in the N line. Very heavy bolstered N line seats. I do like the little red accent in the middle. You have the N logo in both seats, and this one is power adjusted and two-way lumbar support only for the driver's side. I do like this little checker flag little detail, and being the N line, you do get sport pedals. You get the dead pedal, and then brake pedal, and then accelerator pedal. Nicely, let me get a little closer view of that for you guys, which is pretty cool. All right, let's step inside because it is a little steamy as I'm filming this right now. It's about 79 degrees, but in here, in front of us, you have dual 12.3 inch displays. So on the left, you have the instrument cluster. This is for the driver. You get speedometer. You have your charge lever indicator / RPM, which is not really the same, but 61% left battery. Right now, if I put it to, right now it's in eco mode. So if you got eco mode, normal, you have sport, and you have a snow mode, even though this car is not all-wheel drive, but it has it. But I've been driving between normal and eco. So normal right now is 145 miles left. It's rated for 200 on Hyundai's website. It says 230, but I saw when it was delivered to me, and when I charged it, it was about 240 miles. So you get a little bit more. Hyundai's a little bit conservative when it comes to the range estimation, but your range may vary depending on the mode you're in. So for example, if you put it in eco mode, you see that it goes up. And if you set the climate control to driver only, you get 153 miles of range. I have driven this car to work and I was below 20%, and it was it was scary because I had to find chargers. But nonetheless, the car did not leave me stranded. I did feel a little bit of range anxiety because I live in New York and I work in New York City, and chargers are a bit hard to find. But anyway, let's continue. The interior tour. This is most modern Hyundais will have the steering wheel now without the H. You got the 4 little dots, which means Hyundai in Morse code. This has a flat bottom steering wheel because it's N-line. The paddle shifters do not shift anything, of course, because it's an electric vehicle, but they do control the level of regen. And let me zoom in there while I do that. So if you guys can see this little indicator there, so if I press the left pedal, it goes all the way up, and then you can go into one pedal mode, I pedal. So basically, the second you lift off your foot of the accelerator, the car starts slowing down and recouping that energy back to the battery. And if you press the right pedal, you can control it from level 3 all the way to 0. And if you click it one more time, it goes into auto mode. Yeah, if you hold it auto mode, and it will do the regen and braking all by itself the second you lift off the accelerator. But I keep it in normal mode. And this one, you can control the auto mode as you're braking. You can tell it how much to brake when you use the paddles, which is a very cool feature, a novel idea. Not just putting paddles just for the hell of it. It's a cool good idea good idea and concept by Hyundai. Now the cluster does change. So right now I have it in eco mode. If you put it in normal, it looks like that. If you put it in sport mode, it gets all red and, you know, ready for action. And in snow mode, and that's pretty much it. It does have an automatic brake hold, so it will hold the brake while you're in a hill. And moving over to the infotainment screen, if you've seen my other Hyundai videos, this is the latest generation of Hyundai's infotainment system. It now has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is nice. So the icons are all updated, so everything is nice and fresh and clean looking, modern. So you do have, you know, everything is here. This is valet mode, Hyundai Pay, which basically the way that works is you put in your payment system. And for example, I've noticed when I was trying to charge it, a few of the chargers were saying Hyundai Pay, which means all you have to do is plug in your vehicle and charge without taking out any kind of payment system at all, which is kind of nice. And also, supposedly, according to Hyundai, it does work with certain parking garages and things like that. So here you have vehicle diagnostics. So it tells you what's going on with the vehicle. This being an electric vehicle, there's really not going to be much. See, it says all systems okay, everything normal, no issues, obviously. You got your owner's manual here. You click this guy, you scan this QR code with your phone, and it pulls up your owner's manual. Settings menu here controls all vehicle settings. So you have vehicle, the automatic drive, the cruise control, the driver assistance features. You can play with the mode, eco mode for the climate control, automatic recirculation, what the headlights do, what the turn signals do. You got the welcome light, so you can turn that on. So it lights up in this particular trim, it lights up the door handles, light up at night. High beam assist, so automatic high beam, interior lights, the door locks. You could do automatically lock, which is cool. What else? Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, automatically unlock, excuse me. And automatic lock, you could do that also when at certain speeds you have the car to automatically lock the doors. Driver mode, digital key. So Hyundai, Kia, Genesis allow you to set up your phone as a key. So you set up your phone via the Hyundai app, and you can walk up to the car, unlock it, set your phone in the wireless charger, which has NFC as well, and then you can take off without your phone at all, without your key, which is super convenient, very nice, especially if you go to the beach or something like that. And that's pretty much it. And let's see, driver mode, but that's the same thing. Now EV mode, this is the EV screen, so here it tells you about the battery condition. You can activate that if you want to charge during the cold weather months. To heat up the battery, you press this and it starts preconditioning the battery to charge a little faster. There is something called utility mode, which means it leaves, you do get energy and juice once the car is off. You could plug in things to your plug in the USB port, excuse me. Everything stays pretty much live. Oh, this is actually interesting, which is the actual voice outside the car that tells you that charging has started or ended, and you can set that volume outside the car, which is pretty cool when you hear it. You hear the car talking to you. But pretty much this is all the settings here. You activate, this is your sound settings to play with the tone of the sound system, treble, bass, mid-range, screen layout. So you can control the gauges, how the gauges look like. So right now it's set to modern. You can do classic, and then it turns into traditional needles, which is kind of cool, I gotta say. Looks pretty cool. Or you could do simple, and that's regular, simple, modern. Also, you can change the way they look. So if you do classic, you could do like this, style B, or you could just leave it link to the driving mode. So if I go to sport mode, you see that's gonna get all red and everything. Snow mode, which is pretty cool, I gotta say. Instead of digital needles, digital, but it's kind of cool that you can play with. Hyundai allows you to customize the gauges, and that's pretty much it. Screensaver, you could do a screensaver here, which is a clock. When you're not watching anything, you could do a split screen, or you could just turn it off. Buttons, this you can program, you could do a custom button. So this button here, this favorite button, you can customize it. But anyway, let's continue the tour before I ramble too much. I do like that you have physical controls for everything. So you have home, you press map, it goes into map. You have search, you have media, your hazard button right here, seek backwards and forward, favorite button, and setup. And then this is your EV screen. So this tells you what's going on with the battery, how much battery you have left. This is the battery charge indicator. So, and then you could set the amount you want to charge. So if you're gonna go on a long trip, they recommend doing 100. But for everyday driving, 80% is fine. This is on the DC fast charger, and then this is a regular slow charger. You could do 50, you could do 70, 80, 90, and 100, which is fine. This also has vehicle to load, and what that means is you can buy an adapter and connect it in the charge port, and you can, for example, if you go to a park or barbecuing, you can actually power lights and things and radios from the car. So the car becomes your own personal generator, which is pretty cool. Moving back down to the middle, my Tester does have dual zone automatic climate control. It does have heated seats, heated only, no cooling seats in this one because it's not the limited one. But you do have fast charging USB ports for both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This one is charged. You could tell it to be charge only, charger data, or charge only. This is charge only. This is traditional cigarette style outlet right here. I like that it is. I like the fact that it is a physical controls for the climate control, not buried in the screen, which is nice. And moving on. Oh, and you do have very, very large center console here. So these cup holders, you can hide them away like so. Let me get some more lighting here, opening the shade of the sunroof. And when you need them as cup holder, you just press it like so, and then you activate that. And if you open this, you do get a little bit of cargo area. You know, you can open this cubby here and you have a nice little deep well that you can of course put in items and stuff like that. This little tray comes in handy. You can just put it there. You can put keys, a lipstick, whatever you want, you can put there. The seats are suede Alcantara and leather. I don't know if it's real leather. I think it might be synthetic leather, but nonetheless, they look great. Not that great for hot climate days like today. And moving up to the sunroof, there's a look at the sunroof, and it's a decent size. Not small. It looks bigger on the outside, but it's a decent size. It only opens until that much, so nonetheless you still get one, which is not too bad. And these are your control for your lights. Lights are LED here. Hyundai's Blue Link button right there in the middle, so you know, if you need roadside assistance and things of that nature, you activate that button. The shifter is on this side here, so forward for drive, kick back for reverse, which of course this vehicle does have a backup camera. No 360 in this model. You have to go for the limited for that one. And park is like so. All right, let's step inside the back seat real quick, take a look at the back, and then we'll go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step in the back seat of the Hyundai Kona EV, and here's where you can see really that spoiler really pronounced, which is pretty cool. I like the black shark fin antenna, the black roof rails, which is nice, and materials are similar as the front. And stepping in here, of course, being an electric vehicle, it does have a completely flat floor, which is a nice feature, of course, to have if you want space. Center console, electric ones and limited versions, you do get rear climate vents. You do have 2 USB-C ports, cargo nets behind each seat. The seat is adjusted to how I drive. I have plenty of room. I'm about 5'8". There is a nice little LED light right here. Let me spin the phone around, and you guys can see how much room I have. You know, not too bad here. These seats do not recline. I don't think they recline. Oh, they do recline, excuse me. They do recline, so you do get a little bit of recline function here. And there is a cup holder here, but you also get cup holders on each door. All right, this is a quick look of the back. Let's take this Hyundai Kona Electric for a quick drive and my final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. And there's a look at the cluster before we go of how everything looks. All right, let's drive the 2025 Hyundai Kona Electric. And I'm driving in, for the sake of the video, I'll put it in normal mode. And I have 144 miles left because I have been driving this vehicle. Let me change the, let's see, go back here, display. Nope. I just did it before and now I forgot. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, let's just, sorry about that. Let's drive this car in my usual loop here. And as removing the electric propulsion aside, I drove the regular Hyundai Kona, and I'll leave the link. I'll leave the link in the video somewhere so you guys can see that. It's a great little car. I love the second generation of the Kona because the first generation was too small for me. This one, it's more usable, excuse me, in terms of space because it's not as small as the first one. The first one was like a toy. This one still kind of feels like a toy, but it's a little bigger. It is fun to drive, even though it's only 200 miles, which is fine for what it is. It's front wheel drive only. You want all-wheel drive, you have to get the gas versions of the Kona. But nonetheless, it drives great. It is comfortable. Yeah, these seats for me, because I'm a walking, talking heat box, they do get very hot. Very, very hot. I wish Hyundai gave cooling to these seats because, yeah, they will be great. There's only heat in this one, in these seats, which, to be honest, I don't even think you'll need the heat because Alcantara does heat up quite a bit. But let me actually put it in sport mode here, and let me get in. It's rated at 7.1 to 60, and it's great. It works great. No issues, no complaints, obviously. It does have Hyundai's driving assist feature, so you can, of course, set the speed limit and basically do this, and the car will completely drive by itself. It will do a following distance of your desire. It will also, let me just change that screen. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on camera, but right now there is a screen and it's telling me that there's a car in front of me, and it's also yelling at me to hold the steering wheel. But you can let it go for a little bit, and yeah, it drives itself, and it will follow whatever vehicle is in front of it for about less than 5 minutes or so. Then it'll start prompting you to hold the steering wheel to make sure that you're paying attention. The person in front of me is doing about 55. They're doing actually speed limit. The speed limit here is 55. Nobody has honked at me yet, but cool about this screen is that it does give you blind spot warning information on the display as well, so you don't have to guess how long who's in your blind spot. But it's actually going quite a bit longer than I thought it would go without yelling. But anyway, this also competes, of course. The Hyundai Kona is the competitor to the Honda HRV, got that twisted. Honda HRV, the Nissan Kicks. So this is a subcompact SUV, even though it's a little bigger than that. And if you need an electric vehicle, oh, and sticker price for this one is about $39,000 as tested. Not a cheap date, but in all things, in today's crazy modern day car prices, this is actually quote unquote affordable, because the average transaction vehicle is about $48,000. So this is if you look at it in that sense, this is $10,000 cheaper, and it will qualify for the EV incentives if you lease it only, because this is built in Korea. So it will not qualify for the 7,500 stateside, of course, because it's not built here. But overall, though, this has been, minus the I didn't have any hiccup charging, but I was just freaked out a little bit about the charging situation because I drove very, very, very far. I drove far to Connecticut, and I didn't plan accordingly. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, for liking and sharing my videos, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.